The message says, "Hey, you okay? You got quiet after dinner." Before you even know what you did, before you've worked out if you're actually upset or hurt or just tired, your thumbs are already moving. "Sorry, I'm fine, just a long day." You apologize first and diagnose yourself later. And somewhere in your chest, a small familiar relief. Crisis avoided, nobody's mad, we're all good here. Except you don't actually know if you're good. You just know you moved fast enough that nobody had time to be disappointed in you. People call this being an old soul, or just sensitive. Or, more recently, they call it your inner child, like there's a small person still living inside you, still flinching. That phrase gets used a lot, and most of the time it's used loosely, like a horoscope. But strip away the aesthetic of it, and what's actually being pointed at is simpler and a lot more useful. Certain reactions in you were built early, they worked at the time, and nobody sent an update when the situation changed. You're not broken, you're running old software on new hardware. Let's look at what that actually looks like in a normal week, not a therapy session. The first one is the apology you send before anyone's upset. Not politeness, preemption. You feel a shift in someone's tone, and you're already saying sorry, already smaller, already managing their mood, before they've told you it needs managing. The second is testing instead of asking. You don't say, "I need you to check in more." You go quiet and see if they notice. You wait for the, "You good?" instead of asking for it, because asking directly and getting nothing back would be unbearable. But getting nothing back after a hint just feels like more proof, quietly filed away. The third is over-explaining a decision nobody questioned. You cancel one plan and give 3 reasons for it, unprompted. Somewhere back there, an explanation used to be required to avoid trouble. Now trouble isn't even in the room, but the explaining reflex still fires. The fourth is the reaction that's too big for the moment. Someone's 15 minutes late, or forgets to text back, and your body responds like it's the whole relationship ending, not a delay. It's not that you're overreacting to them. You're reacting to every other time being kept waiting meant something worse than 15 minutes. The fifth is what happens when someone compliments you. Watch your own hands. You'll deflect it, joke it away, or immediately hand credit to someone else, because sitting still and just receiving something good feels oddly unsafe, like it's setting you up to lose it. The sixth is doing everything yourself and calling it independence. You'd rather carry the boxes, miss the sleep, handle the mess alone than ask, because somewhere along the way, needing help got filed under burden, and it never got refiled. The seventh is saying yes to plans you don't want, then quietly resenting the person who never even pressured you. You said yes so fast they never got the chance to hear the, "Actually, I can't." Now you're annoyed at someone for a boundary you didn't set. The eighth is the aftermath of a small mistake, a typo in a work email, a wrong word in an argument, and the way your internal voice turns on you disproportionately fast and disproportionately hard, like the cost of being wrong was never just being wrong. The ninth is choosing the person who runs hot and cold over the one who's steady, and calling the steady one boring. Chaos feels like chemistry because chaos is familiar. Calm can feel like nothing's happening, because nowhere in your history did calm mean safe. It sometimes meant the quiet before something. None of these on their own look dramatic. That's the point. Nobody sees a person having a childhood flashback at their kitchen table. They just see someone who's a little too agreeable, a little too independent, a little too intense about being 15 minutes late for. The behavior is visible. What it's protecting almost never is. Here's the part that usually gets flattened into a slogan. This isn't proof that you're damaged, and it isn't proof that your childhood was catastrophic. Plenty of these patterns come from small, repeated moments. A parent who was tired more than cruel, a home where love was there but conditional on being easy, a house where the safest kid was the quiet one. The behavior isn't evidence of a diagnosis. It's evidence that a strategy worked once, in a smaller, more dependent version of your life. And your nervous system never got the memo that you're not that dependent anymore. The misconception is thinking these behaviors mean something's currently wrong with you, that you're too sensitive, too much, too guarded. Most of them are just outdated efficiency. Apologizing fast used to buy safety. Doing everything alone used to mean nobody could let you down. Testing instead of asking used to feel less risky than a direct no. These weren't flaws, they were solutions. The problem is that solutions built for a smaller world don't shrink back down when the world gets bigger and safer, and nobody tells them to. Here's what it quietly costs, if it goes unnoticed. People who actually want to be close to you get managed instead of let in. Partners feel like they're always one shade away from a version of you that only shows up after the relationship is already ending. Friends stop asking how you really are, because fine has been the answer for a decade and nobody wants to force the door. You get privacy. You rarely get relief. And the version of you that's actually tired, actually needs help, actually wants someone to notice without being told, that version keeps getting managed instead of met. You don't fix any of this by announcing it to the person across from you at dinner. That's not what this is for. This is not a diagnosis, and it's not a treatment plan. It's just a clearer set of eyes on things you already do. The smaller, more useful shift is this. The next time you feel the apology rising before anyone said anything, pause for 1 second and ask what you're actually trying to prevent. Not fix it, just notice it. Notice whether the fast sorry is protecting the relationship or just protecting the small, tired part of you that learned, a long time ago, that being agreeable fast was the safest place to stand. So back to that message. Hey, you okay? You got quiet after dinner. You don't have to answer it in 5 seconds this time. You can sit with it a little longer than usual, and instead of the reflex apology, you type something closer to the truth. I got a bit in my head, not upset with you. Same phone, same message, different hand doing the typing, one that isn't managing anyone, just telling them what's actually happening. That's not healing. It's one honest sentence instead of one fast one. If any of this feels heavier than a video can hold, that's worth talking through with someone qualified to sit with it properly. A therapist, not a script. But for tonight, the sentence is enough.